Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang1, back to do another Transformers review. Took a couple of weeks off because I became very arsehole lazy. So, following on from my return from TF Nation 2014, which was a right laugh, and there will be a thoughts video either before or after this coming out, as well as haul videos later in the month. Continuing on from Pretender G1 fucking Grimlock review, which, let's face it, that toy is an abomination. I've got another toy, sort of along the same themes, Pretender, Abomination, you know the drill. We're going to crack straight on into this because there's a level of duality with this. Let's dive in and I shall give you my thoughts. This is the review for Generation 1 Pretender, Carnivac.
Right, okay, here is G1 Carnivac in his alt mode. So the question I guess was in the design phase, how do we go ahead and make a Cybertronian wolf? And ladies and gentlemen, I can promise you now that the answer is not what's sitting in front of me right now. Okay, this is I want to be kind. See, the thing is, I want to be kind to this one. I really do, because Carnivac's character was fucking brilliant. The characterization of this one was like sort of full of duality and conflict and like sort of inner turmoil and that, because he was defecting from the Decepticons to the Autobots, and was he making the right choice, and sort of blah blah. And he still had a certain amount of honor and sort of thing like that. But you know, you can have the greatest characterization in the world, and evidently still end up with a fucking steaming pile of dick, right? This this is just like, what on earth is going on here? Before we get too much into the fun just here, I'm going to show you some of the things that Carnivac came with. Okay, so he comes with, obviously, in a robot. He comes with one weapon, which can be used in alt mode. It can be used for the shell and also used for the robot mode by this little handle just here. Trouble is, when you use it for robot mode, the weapon is disproportionately massive compared to the robot. We'll come on to that later. He comes with one tail for the Pretender shell. No point in this being a removable part, quite frankly, but that is what it is. Left and right shoulder pads for the Pretender shell. Again, no real sense in this coming off either. This is just an easily lost part, but whatever. And two halves, left and right, of said shell. Now, the shell is absolutely incredible, right? The shell has in itself got a lot of characterization to it. It's just showing that the robot doesn't. So there's a left and half of this. I'm only showing one side of it for now. I wish I'd stop moving the fucking light, but there we are. Whatever. So this is Carnivac, and his redeeming feature is his mouth opens. Yeah, see, scary. I mean, it looks like he can dislocate his jaw just to swallow a fat load, basically, which I think is pretty much all this toy is good for. The colour scheme is slightly more purple than what the camera's picking up. The camera's making it out to be far pinker than it actually is. But apart from that, there's not really that much difference. Focus, you motherfucker. Just there we go. This is, again, like most Pretenders, fantastic concept, poorly executed. This robot here is an abomination. The only saving grace of this toy would be the shell, which is going far more than Pretender Grimlock was capable of, quite frankly. Yeah, so, I mean, the stickers have clearly been put on by someone with only one hand, which is absolutely fine, Tom Morley. And, yeah, I don't know. There's something about this that, with the greatest will and intention in the world, you would have had to have noticed at some stage in the design phase, this looks like absolute shit. Where have we gone wrong? How do we fix it? Should we start again? Even should have been maybe a question that was touted about, but clearly not. And this is absolute fucking dreck. So there we go. That's my overall opinions of this. The robot mode, sadly, doesn't really do anything to lift that opinion at all. See, the thing is, Catzilla's robot mode was clunky but fully functional. It sort of looked like a robot. This doesn't really look like anything. This is almost getting into like the realms of like sort of blocked from the Terracons and how absolutely pig shit it is. But let's take this to robot mode anyway, because I'm 4 minutes 26 seconds into this review, and I've not said anything kind, and that's basically the way it's going to continue. So we're going to start off. We're going to pull these legs out like that, collapse the tail just in like this, and then start lifting the leg sections out. And as you're doing it, keep trying to spin the legs around, because you're going to need to get those out of the way, okay? And they're going to fold to the back just like that, just for now. The arms, we are going to start by folding out these little sections just here, if you can see that, because they're going to form his little hands, okay, just like that. And then this section here collapse into the arm, okay, on both sides. Then you can think about sort of bringing them round, bringing them like that, okay. Oh, fucking hell, that's stiff. Come on, you prick. There we are. Now we can go ahead and just like fold these legs out of the way, just like that, okay. And then basically, there he is. Fold this gold brown section down, and there's the piece of shit, ladies and gentlemen. There is the piece of shit, if I can focus it, that is Carnivac's robot mode. Try and get you a little on the head sculpt there. Not a lot going on, no discernible detail on the face. This part don't do fuck all. There you go. There, what you've got there is a very, very questionable robot with no particular thought in the design, no detail, no anything. It's just a block of shit. Why don't we give him his little, I say his little, why don't we give him his weapon? And there we go. That's what I was talking about. A massive gun for us. Focus, you motherfucker. A massive gun for a small, crappy robot. Again, this is doing nothing to elevate my incredibly low opinion of this toy. And as I said, the character was fucking really, really interesting in the Marvel comics. They followed a similar vein with Catilla, and then Catilla is killed, and then this one goes on a revenge spree against the Mayhem Attack Squad. This is an abomination and an insult to the character that was written. But you know, whatever. I guess the toy came first. Yeah, there's nothing to say about it like this. Why couldn't the Pretenders have been good? Right? I don't think people were asking a lot. This was a great concept, and it is so badly realised, especially in this one here. Yeah, what an absolute shame. What a real shame that is. But the fun doesn't stop here. Okay, so let's take the fun part one out of the equation, and then we're going to talk about part two. Now, if you remember, during my Catilla review, I said that I felt like it had a broken piece where the gun was. Well, it turns out it's on Catilla. If you can see just there, part of the plastic is sheared off. Now, I think I had the same issue with Catilla when I was younger. So there's obviously some sort of issue in the moulding that's taken place to fit the weapon. So let's bring this back just a little bit, and you can see the edges of the light is what you can see. Right, there we are. There is Carnivac's shell, beautifully realised. Nice menacing wolf with pink eyes for some reason. And wearing a suicide vest, but whatever. It's a great shell. Really, really nice detail. The colour on it's great. It's just a shame that it hides such a god-awful fucking robot. And what we're going to do is we're going to build the shell up. Okay, so we're going to start by splitting it in half, like that. We're going to then add the tail into this section just here. And then we're going to add the shoulder pads. So one shoulder pad goes there, and the other shoulder pad, obviously, well, goes there, really. There we go. Right. And then that will be the shell combined. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just set that off to one side. we're going to bring in Mr. Disappointment 1989, or wherever the fuck he was released. We're going to take that out of the equation. We're going to then collapse, or bring that back up and hide his shit face. Collapse the arms in, the hands in, sorry. Extend the wolf legs out, front legs, and just get those up like that. Okay. Then we're going to collapse in this section of the body. Get those out of the way again. Get those out of the way. We're going to bring these arms underneath like this. Okay. Now I know that looks weird, and I'm wondering if I've done that right, so we don't care. We're going to bring these over and fold them around. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that, right, that is how you do it, okay? That is how you do it. So we've collapsed Carnivac down like this. We open up his shell, like every other Pretender. We stick the abomination inside the relatively decently designed shell, close it up like this, and then we attach the gun to the broken hole, just like that. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is Carnivac in his hidden mode, his Pretender mode. Yeah. This looks amazing. This looks really, really well done. I'm not sure that this is worth the experience of the overall toy. Let's raise that up just a little bit. I'm not sure this is worth the experience of the overall toy. Despite the fact this looks amazing, despite the fact the character was very, very engaging and well written, this doesn't compensate necessarily for the absolute abomination, the turgid shit that rests within these two halves of the shell. Okay. Would I recommend? Hang on, and do you know what? I think my shell has got a crack in it just there. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to need to be careful of that. Evidently, the last thing I want is for the decent part to break, and I'm left with the shit that rots inside. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Carnivac's review. I sort of like him, and I sort of don't. I'm leaning more heavily into the I don't, evidently. But this here is beautifully designed, beautifully painted, and the shit that rests inside can stay inside until it becomes nothing at all. Yeah, that is my review for Generation 1 Carnivac. So thank you very much for watching this review. This is Jared Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang 1. Do stick around in the week, because I've got my I've got some other stuff to show off, other videos coming. Yes, so when I'm recording this, I've just come back from TFN 2024. A thoughts video would have come out maybe before this review or maybe after it. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm sure whatever I release, when I release it, and whatever I have to say will be absolutely great, and you'll hang on my every word like you always do. So until we see each other again, thank you very much for watching this, and take care. And when tomorrow comes